answer with the Jinx. A lot of directions they can go in. Ezreal something are still available, although obviously we've seen time and time again how that can be countered. Interesting enough, Weibo going for the Rakan. So obviously something On is very proficient on. Did get buffs a couple of patches ago. Champion is strong, but blind does mean BLG can pick, you know, a variety of lanes that can apply pressure. You could even go for something like, I mean, they're looking at potentially a Draven, but there's a lot of lanes where you just have the range advantage. They aren't going to go for it. They're going to go for the Kalista Amumu as a standard.
They are taunting Huanfeng. They're saying, you're going to go Draven. We're locking the Kalista. Come on, bring out your Draven. Huanfeng has played 9 different AD carries so far this split. That's the most out of anyone in the LPL. But it looks like he won't go for the goading, won't go for the bait, takes the Aphelios, plays for the scaling that the rest of Weibo have locked in.
Yeah, just ends up blocking in the Aphelios, which is a standard answer. And I mean, at least the thing with the Rakan is that it's going to be difficult to pressure you early. Like, you know, we saw even in the last series, playing the Nautilus into the Kalista Amumu, very easy for the Amumu just to dive on you and cause issue. Rakan obviously has the ability to make that a bit harder. But yeah, both teams, a lot of scaling elements. I feel like Weibo does have the edge in some regard when it gets to the late stage of the game. But I think BLG, you know, they have that Corki for Fofo. If they can find some momentum, can absolutely take over on this one.
Look at Crisp on the desk there, a little model of him looking real cute. I'm excited to see how these two teams match up, because BLG are a team that have been struggling so far this split. Like, I don't think anyone is remiss to say that. And I kind of want to open that conversation that you and I had a couple of days ago off stream, where, you know, talking about the BLG roster change, the fact that WeiWei's being subbed, I keep seeing myself on the screen with this stupid hat on, and it's so distracting. BLG, you know, there is logic to changing WeiWei out. It's not necessarily saying that WeiWei is the issue on this team, but, you know, you were saying the other day, you've just brought in an MSI champion top lane, you've just changed your mid laner, you got Crisp and Doggo in the bottom lane that you don't really want to change. WeiWei's kind of the only other option of a roster change available.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Crisp would be the last person I'd switch. I think Crisp still does a really solid job. And that's like, you specifically wanted like someone who's, I mean, I still think Crisp would be vocal. As you said, Bin, MSI top laner, 80 carries don't tend, unless your 80 carries individually underperforming massively, 80 carries aren't usually the ones responsible for like team-wide issues and how a whole team is functioning, because 80 carries kind of just slot in. It's like, you know, we give them gold, they pop off in team fights. That's the requirement. So mid and jungle tend to be more impactful, and at the end of the day, BLG isn't working. I think everyone can agree on that. They haven't worked so far. They didn't work really that well in spring, but it was still better than what they are in summer. Something had to change, and I think when you have Khan, who's been performing well on your LDL roster, then why not go for it?
And it's something I actually respect from BLG as well, being willing to change things up. They showed that they were willing to change things up in spring as well. Like, clearly they do want this to succeed, and they are trying to improve the situation. Weibo wanted to go for a level 1, though, as On steps into the brush. Needs to be a little cautious. Will go for a knockup, forces a flash from Crisp, but now they re-engage. On stunned up, flashes over the wall, ignited. Doggo to follow. First blood comes through for Khan. Welcome to the LPL. What a way to make an entrance.
And now it looks like they might transition this into an invade. You know, the enemy support isn't there. You can just try and take the blue buff away. Absolute disaster for Weibo. And getting overconfident. I mean, Amumu, Kalista is one of the best level 1s in the entire game. The fact you have 2 charges off the stun, and then Doggo being able to dive in and stack up the Rens. Just a massive overcommitment from On there. And it will not only cost him, but also his jungler dearly.
Yeah, and not to mention, like, the martial poise from the Kalista, plus a Lee Sin. These champions are very good at chasing you down if you overstep. So On clearly not expecting that many players to be in the brush, but now in that bottom lane, look how many summoners are burnt on both sides. This is going to become such a volatile 2v2.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the cleanse for Doggo isn't as valuable as the cleanse for Huanfeng. You know, cleanse only really good against On when he has the ultimate available, or if Huanfeng has the Gravitum. But cleanse very nice for Huanfeng into the Amumu, but there's still that glacial augment. Really powerful with the Amumu, the fact that like even if someone cleanses you, they're still on that slow field. So I expect there to be a lot of fight in the bot lane. Already started out early, but Khan is just going to clear up, make sure his blue's not going to be contested, so SofM can't make back the buff that he lost on the other side.
I will say it's exciting to see a bottom lane where there is potential for big action out of these two teams, because neither team really has the most proactive bottom lane, let's be honest. Like Doggo and Crisp, Huanfeng and On, these are not players that you talk about for just dominating the 2v2, right? These are not players that you talk about for looking for lane kills all the time. Generally speaking, it's much more about the team fighting for both sides. So exciting to see that hopefully we might get a bit of action there. But you see Corki is here in the mid lane so far. Very Corki favored in the LPL.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things is a weakness to Azir is how he deals with poke. Long range poke in particular, you know, back in the day, there was even things like Varus mid picked into him just because, you know, he has a long range, but this poke is such a problem for him to deal with. That being said, the early laning phase is favored towards Azir. He's going to be able to find the priority, which is why I think the fact that Khan got that early advantage is such a big deal, because typically you don't have mid prio and you would end up suffering a bit. But yeah, hasn't really been able to see much come out. One thing to note there is we have Khan did take that top scuttle, and the bot scuttle was also secured by BLG because Crisp and Doggo moved up. So not only does SofM lose his blue buff, he also gets double scuttled. Has to reset, but if you look at the map at the moment, no camps currently available for him. So we'll have the Wolves respawn now, which obviously he started on, but not an ideal position to be in.
Not great for SofM, getting run around a little bit in the early game. So, I mean, Khan having a great start. Obviously, it's all off the back of that first blood. Like, Khan able to find the priority, find the advantage in that one. But Khan, as you say, the Wolves up, now Gromp respawning for SofM. Similar situation for Khan, though. He can match that pathing up towards the top side by going for his croaks into his chickens. So, feels like we could maybe lean up towards a scrap in the top side now.
Could potentially. I mean, TheShy is really it's expected, right? In this laning phase, up against the Gnar, you are playing the Sejuani. Unless you have a window to get on top of the Gnar, you're just going to get harassed down. So TheShy not really having fun yet, and particularly having grasp as well, not getting many windows to proc it. SofM is spotted out here. This could turn into contest here.
Yeah, Khan knows that he's here and is just going to go straight in. Sonic Wave lands, bit of damage coming down. SofM forced underneath the tower. Phosphorus bomb. A lot of damage onto SofM, and he's starting to regret trying to make a play towards the mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have to kill him. They just chunk him out, and now they know his position. They know he's low in HP. He can smite to try and get some health back, but SofM just really not going to have much impact. And, you know, considering Corki is going to scale exceptionally well into later stages, Bin is having a fantastic time top lane, bot lane is going smoothly as well. Khan is happy if his lanes continue to function in this way.
Yeah, BLG loving every second of this game so far. Big roster change coming on in. Fofo back to the mid lane. Khan being promoted from the LDL team. And so far, so good. Now, we're only 5 minutes in. I don't want to count the chickens before they're hatched, but it's a good start to things for BLG and a proactive start as well. Feels like they're the ones in the driver's seat. Dragon is up on the map. Herald coming up in the next couple of minutes. SofM spotted in the top river as a TP comes up. Look where Crisp is on the map. They want to make a play onto SofM here. Bandage toss dodged by SofM. And the play will be neutralized.
Yeah, it's a nice timing for Crisp to be here. You can see the wave is actually getting pushed in bot, so Doggo isn't going to miss much. And with the scuttle being up, it just secures that and denies them more. Actually, no way, the wave, sorry, didn't get a save from the minimap, is actually going away. So this is a bit of a rough spot for BLG. Crisp needs to make his way back bot lane quickly, because you can see Doggo is getting zoned off by quite a bit of CS. So, you know, I said it was a good roam timing. I get to see the lane. Not actually ideal, ultimately. A heavy cost for BLG's AD carry here.
Yeah, and they didn't get the pick onto SofM as well, so not ideal. If they can find that pick, maybe that's like a snowball opportunity. Maybe you can then force the dragon and that kind of thing. But for the time being, just a bit of zoning in that bottom side. But you can see Doggo still up in CS. Huanfeng does have that wave there that should even things out. And now SofM returns to that bottom side. Nobody touching the Drake just yet. But I want to quickly talk about that Rift Herald, because BLG, low in the standings, right? 2 and 5. So generally speaking, their statistics not that great. But when it comes to Rift Heralds, they have, I think it's 4th in the league in terms of Rift Herald percentage. This is a team that really wants that Rift Herald.
Yeah, and that can go 2 ways. Sometimes that can be really beneficial. And sometimes over-contesting on the Rift Herald when you shouldn't be can really end up backfiring. I feel like this game is one they could potentially really look to take, especially if they kind of delay it a bit. The ideal thing is that you don't initially start the Herald. If you wait till like 10 minutes, you can have the package, or just waiting for Chris to have his ultimate available could be a big factor as well, because that ultimate combo between the Kalista and the Amumu is devastating in team fights. So if you can set up a window where those are available, that's the ideal. But you can see already SofM's on the top side of the map. On is going for a reset. Looks like they might be trying to make an early move towards the Herald. And we'll see if BLG end up contesting them. But the expectation is they probably will.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if we just see a big old scrap for it. That said, I don't think Weibo should be trying to fight for a Herald. Like, looking at their composition, you got an Azir and a Aphelios. You're not ahead in gold right now. I don't feel like fighting 5v5 is the answer for Weibo. I wouldn't put it past them anyway. This is the LPL after all. We've seen worse situations pulled off anyway. On moving to the mid lane, though, to try and help our Angel, who's in a 1v3 right now. We'll just be able to clear that wave away. But by the looks of things, will be Weibo just accepting that they don't get the Herald. Kind of surprised to see SofM not opting into going for that Dragon.
Yeah, I mean, it's good moves from BLG. You have to praise that, right? They moved the bot lane up to make sure they have contest on the mid wave, and then they realize they're not needed topside, so can't just gets the Herald and the Scuttle as well from that play. And as you said, Dragon not done. It looks like they're making a move towards it now. They should be able to pick it up here, but it's still Weibo a little bit behind on the play, down in tempo, and they'll get a trade, but this is allowing BLG really to take control of the game.
The Shy's go for it all in. The Ignite is down. Can he land the flail? Bin flashes away. 1 HP, but he will survive. And now Can moving up to the top side. The Shy got no HP, got no summoner spells, and Can plenty to work with. Kicks him against the wall and finds a kill onto the Shy.
Really nice play. Leaves 0 outplay potential. And now you have a choice. You could slam the Herald down here. The Shy's dead. SofM, you know, is on the boss side of the map, and you could just pick up a bunch of plates. But goes sides that, you know, maybe given that extra resources towards being in the play, may end up to look to try and put it towards bot lane where you can snowball the Kalista, or alternatively mid lane. You're up against an Azir. Typically, it's going to be hard to break that tier 1 mid anytime soon. So thinning the plates down a bit with the first Herald, so the second Herald can take the tower, could be the play coming out from BLG. Regardless, a good play coming out from Khan, and second kill off the game. Solid start.
Really nice stuff. And again, LPL debut here for Khan. 2-0, even CS at the same time. Still has that Herald to work with as well. Like you say, opting not to give that to Bin can put that somewhere else on the map. So a really, really nice start for Khan. And it feels like this is a great proactive jungler that we're getting to witness here in the LPL. And I hope we get to see a little more of this from BLG. Nice little dodge from Doggo there. Denies the all-in from on the bottom side.
Yeah, good moves, and it can be tricky to pin down their Kalista just with the martial poise. Obviously, when you have the ultimate from the Rakan, that really changes everything, but on not wanting to commit too heavily onto that. And I think I'm kind of just tracking Khan here, what he's going to do. Has about half of the Herald duration left. We talked about his options, but I think one of the things when you do have the Herald is tracking the enemy jungler. What you don't want to do is slam it down. Enemy junglers there, they have numbers. You aren't able to get the full value out of it, or worst case scenario, they even prevent it getting slammed down. So tracking the enemy jungler at a time like this, finding your window, your opportunity to go for it is ideal. And actually, if you look on the minimap right now, bot lane has prior, they're moving up. Pings are coming out mid on the way pings, and you're going to TP in from Fofo. It looks like the play is going to be for the Herald mid from BLG. They want to thin out this mid tower, get some gold for Fofo, and try and get this tower in a more approachable position.
And maybe go for a dive in the meantime. Crisp and Doggo moved up, and there's a ward from on, but it was a little late. Okay, Doggo's now been spotted. Herald gets the charge. It will just be a couple of plates in the end. The dive will not come on through. Angel just going to clear that Herald up. Should be able to finish the cannon as well. In the meantime, Huanfeng gets a little bit of alone time down in the bottom lane, but won't get an opportunity to get onto plates. Maybe an opportunity for a 2v2. I'm not sure Odd and Huanfeng want that one. Big damage down, and like Vigil surprisingly used, but I suppose when you have no intention of a big fight anytime soon, you might as well use it for harass.
Yeah, I can just throw it out to trade with. Obviously doesn't connect, and bot lane, you know, as much as there's that early death from on at the level 1, managed to stabilize. The lane is going completely fine. I think Weibo are happy with it, but you see Doggo still trying to look and play aggressive. And this top lane matchup has gotten a little bit difficult. 20 CS lead for Bin over the Shy. Mid lane, we're seeing a lead for Angel, but ultimately it's getting to the point where the Corki can just kind of obliterate waves with those rockets. So BLG in a pretty comfortable position right now. And when we look towards the team fights, they have a lot of strength there. Just need to find the windows, find the opportunities. And something to note is these early objectives, the fact that, oh, might see a bit of an invade here.
SofM does finish his blue buff, but takes a bit of damage for his trouble. Angel doing a good job to move to protect his jungler in this game, because I feel like we've seen quite a lot of pressure coming out from Khan on towards SofM. Weibo doing their best to try and maintain things there as TheShy returns to the top lane. 2,000 gold lead so far for BLG. As TheShy once again just charges a bit. He really wants these scraps, but he is not winning them. He is consistently getting destroyed by Bin in these trades. Look at this damage.
Yeah, one of the big reasons why Gnar gained so much priority after the durability change is he has percentage HP on his W. Everyone has more health, and that really has a ton of value. And on top of that, Mini Gnar is a lot tankier than it used to be. You can't just get up in his face and expect to win the trade as a Sejuani. And so Bin, the fact he's already ahead, really punishing TheShy in these trades. And at this point, it's a 2,000 gold lead for BLG. And bear in mind, so early objectives was a Dragon for Weibo, Herald for BLG. But from now on, we have to have a discussion of the package. And BLG can just lean on that. Every time they want to contest an objective, you know, obviously there's going to be some overlap. For example, there's Dragon in 30, Herald in 50. They can't necessarily have the package for both if they use it on one of them. But it does mean that it becomes way harder for Weibo to contest these with that in mind.
Yeah, one thing I will say, AD Carry's not been back to base in a little while. Neither has the Mythic available, with Drake up in 10 seconds time. Remember, Weibo got the first one of the game. You can see Crisp fighting for vision control of the Drake currently. But in the meantime, you've got TheShy fighting for a Scuttle Crab on that top side to try and make sure that they get vision control of the Rift. Herald, On and Crisp sparring, but On has to dip on out of the play as Crisp gets the stun. And Herald not going to be needed for this Drake. This could be an opportunity for BLG to then transition up towards the top side as well.
Yeah, it would be risky to like just charge in, no vision. And I think the package just got thrown down there. So, you know, won't have that available to contest the Herald. And SofM is in the vicinity. So we'll see what they opt to do here. Reset is coming in for Doggo and Crisp is walking up. They could look to move it in the area. But as you said, no package available now. So Weibo might feel like this is an objective that they can fight.
TheShy certainly does, as he's not shy about walking forwards and face checking these brushes, trying to clear vision, trying to maintain control as Chris moves into the mid lane, takes a bit of poke from Angel. Can starting this Herald off. TheShy over the wall, but look at the bottom lane. Huanfeng and On just staying down in that bottom side. This is so typical of Weibo. Let Huanfeng grab plates, especially on the Aphelios, but we're past the point where he can get plates. So now a TP comes down, means he won't be able to finish this tower off. And Weibo lose the Herald. Bin actually looking for an all-in, but he's in a 2v1. This isn't a fight that Bin wants for himself against his old AD carry. He wanted a bit of damage, but he won't find it.
Yeah, very risky overstep. Commits himself, dives in, but On is there to turn it around. All Bin had to do was clear the wave, defend the tower, deny first tower blood from Weibo. But a big overstep ends up costing quite heavily. You give a kill over the enemy Aphelios. You also give that first tower as a result. So BLG, they make the right decision, but Bin just oversteps and it ends up costing.
Getting too aggressive. Thought On wasn't there, but when you're on the Rakan, you could be halfway across the map. He'll still be able to make it to the play. Very nicely done by On to protect the AD carry. Bin, bit of an overstep. That's not the first time we've said that this split. Bin, known for being a little over-aggressive sometimes. Second Herald will come down in the mid lane. Orcs, I know how much you love this. I know you love the double Herald Bin.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes sense, right? You open up the map so much by using this. A tower that's traditionally very difficult to take in general, particularly against an Azir. And now it just puts so much pressure. You can see BLG able to move up deeper into the enemy jungle. There's no longer that big safe haven in the mid lane for Weibo to kind of deny you and cause issues. And, you know, they won't necessarily get anything from it now, but just that extra pressure further in the game will make a big difference when it comes to pushing in that wave quite deep, finding that mid priority. Now, it's 2 minutes 40 until that dragon, and Fofo does have the package synced up with it. So we should expect BLG looking to just sync up again and again the package with the dragons and just try and chain those together. It is an Ocean Soul, which I feel like it's fine. I feel like it'd be better for Weibo when you're going up against the Corki poke. You have the tanky Sejuani. You'd love to have the Ocean Soul, but BLG will definitely take it.
So I want to talk about these next few minutes of gameplay, right? Because we've actually ended up in a position. Oh, he's on Rakan. He should be fine. Yeah, we've ended up in a position where Weibo are actually not that far behind in gold. BLG were almost 2k up earlier on because that first tower. Weibo have somewhat caught up. You've got an Azir and Aphelios on this Weibo composition. They certainly have scaling elements. At what point does this become too much for BLG? At what point can they no longer play against this scaling comp?
The thing is, I feel like as much as the scaling elements for Weibo, it's not like BLG doesn't have their own. Like the Corki's going to be a menace later on. Crisp on the Amumu can be very effective in team fights. I feel like, you know, if you let Huanfeng get to 3-4 items, he will eclipse his counterpart. But the Azir never really is going to eclipse the Corki and the value he has in team fights. So I don't think there's like a clear-cut point. But I think, you know, there is points where like Huanfeng will have more value, for example, where TheShy won't be getting bullied out in lane anymore and can be that big beefcake in team fights. I would say, though, the difficulty for me is that the longer you wait for Weibo to opt into these fights, the more difficult it's going to become because, you know, BLG will keep using those packages. And in those later fights, when you have the pressure of needing to contest the dragon, you also have the package to deal with. Corki obviously scales exception. He's already level 13, and Corki is very level-based. You basically get a higher AD ratio on your ultimate depending on what level you are, and at 16 it's 75% on AD ratio on the little rockets, 150% bonus AD on the big ones. So the fact that Fofo is at level 13 already is worrying a bit for Weibo.
So pretty reasonable scaling on both sides, so not necessarily that big threshold that we were talking about. Going to be much more about how these two teams play the game. Bin might have been caught up in the top side, though. Stuns chained up by the side of Weibo. It's a good Gnar. Bin trying to escape, but you're against the Sejuani. Locked up, chased down, and will be finished off by SofM. It's 2-2 on the scoreboard now. Just 500 gold up for the side of BLG as they try and muscle their way into the bottom side instead. On the target as Crisp actually flashes straight onto Angel instead. But Angel, Emperor's Divide there. Shurima Shuffle away from the play. TP's out of both sides here. As On escapes on the top side of the play. BLG, 4 men in a unit here, but they're surrounded on both sides.
Yeah, they kind of want Bin to be alive, TPing in to make this happen, but they do have the package from Fofo, which is why they're willing to play so aggressive. We'll see if Weibo are able to contest this one, but I think the package is too scary, Angel's too low. And that's the problem, you know, even despite the fact Weibo got a pick, that's exactly what you want to do. You get a pick before the dragon, still the package is too threatening. They can't contest the dragon, and it's another one in the pocket of BLG.
On actually going aggressive here onto Doggo, trying to protect Huanfeng, get a bit of damage down himself. Crisp goes in, big damage. There's the Inferno coming through as well. Or the Moonlight Vigil, sorry. Big damage onto Crisp, but not enough to get a kill on either side. And I feel like that's been the story of a lot of this game so far. Attempted aggression, but everyone's so slippery.
Yeah, a lot of back and forth. As you said, so much mobility to get these champions out. SofM going super aggressive here, though.
Not the first time we've ever said that. SofM trying to find himself some wolves. Won't get them. Perhaps a blue buff, though. Angel's here to DPS that down. SofM taking quite a greedy path, but should have a blast cone there to get himself out to safety. TheShy, in the meantime, taking the chickens. Feels like Weibo's game plan is deny Khan camps right now. Remove every camp on the map.
Yeah, I mean, you should take it, right? You've missed out on the dragon. You have a window. You have an opportunity. With the package not being available, just to punish, to take as much as you can. And it does mean that Weibo have got a little bit of a goal lead. It's only minor, but considering they were down in goal before, it does put them in a better spot. So then note as well, for Huanfeng, we've seen the Collector second and not the Bloodthirster. Very common to see the Bloodthirster second, especially to Corki. If Fofo lands that poke on you, you just don't have the same sustain to try and heal back up. And you got to remember that that was one of the things that was nerfed prior to the durability changes, was like sustain and runes for 80 carries. It is fleet footwear for Huanfeng, but still, I think Fofo is just going to be such a pivotal piece in these team fights.
Got a bit of a scrap up on the top side here. Is On and SofM move up to try and protect Angel, who's just going to reset under the tower. I think BLG should be able to take a tower off the back of this. It was Fofo and Angel sparring against each other. Big damage coming out from Fofo. It's opened up an opportunity on the top side of the map. On gets caught by the Sonic Wave here. Kick available from Khan. Crisp there to follow up if they want to pull the trigger.
I feel like so many times this game has been Crisp looking for On, trying to get like the double bandage toss on top of him. But On is just, you know, playing Rakan very hard to find that window. And with Merc Treads as well, really difficult to make it stick. But Crisp fishing time and time again. And I do believe they were able to pick up that top tower. Angel there in time to defend. Just able to get a bit more pressure. And you can see a lot of vision setup coming around this Baron area. If someone does misstep on the side of Weibo, if they find and engage, then I'm certain BLG will not hesitate to go for it. Bear in mind as well, they have the Kalista, that extra secure ability on objectives. Lee Sin as well with the execute. Fantastic at setting them up.
Stepping forwards, Crisp alongside him here. 3 men strong from Weibo, but they're against 4 on the side of BLG, who are desperate to cement their vision control of this Baron area. Khan being pushed away. Tribrush vision cleared by Weibo, but they're struggling to get anything more done than just that. On actually going to use the quick. No, it wasn't the quickness. It was his battle song. Yeah. This is a weird play, Orcs. Oh, here we go. Here's the sand movie. Doggo over the wall. And that's going to be a pick onto On. SofM forced to flash now underneath the tower and immediately TP from TheShy. BLG can't go any further, but they get themselves a pick.
You know, I've seen extensive fights over dragons, heralds, barons, elder dragons, all sorts. That is probably the most heavily contested brush I've ever seen. Just the back and forth to try and get the vision. And now BLG confident to stop the baron. SofM doesn't have flash or ult or smite at the moment, but it is coming up soon and he's looking to contest.
There's an Infernal. Crisp has to turn golden. Big damage coming down onto Finn as well. There's a pick for Weibo. It's 2, in fact, with the Calibrum. And suddenly, Weibo on top of the play. SofM is here. Does have smite available if they want to try and force something more. Can forced away. Calibrum again coming down. Big damage onto Can. There's a root with the Gravitum. There's no follow-up from the rest of the team. Weibo returned to the Baron. We talked about the Kalista, we talked about the Lee, but with an Aphelios and an Azir, it's not like Weibo is slow.
Yeah, and Khan is so low, it's so hard for him to get over and to do this one. I think he's just going to be gone. TP coming in from Fofo, but it's too little too late. And BLG end up fumbling it, give the window over their opponents, and Weibo capitalize and pick up the Baron. Absolute disaster for BLG there.
And all of this off of a pick from BLG. They started this passage of play, finding the pick onto On. And yet, it all somehow goes the way of Weibo. This is a 4v5.
Yeah, I mean, they're just taking so much damage, and it's like, as much as you played out the Rakan, there's still so much threat for the enemy team. They're taking damage from the Baron. They don't have anyone who's really tanky enough to soak it up. And yeah, it ends up backfiring quite heavily. Now, Fofo is actually here, but doesn't have the package available.
Okay,
so
5 seconds on Drake. Oh, big damage onto Khan, actually. That's half of his health gone. SofM could be stuck, though. Has his ultimate if he needs it, and will use that defensively. As Angel just sets up a line of soldiers there. It's so difficult for BLG to push any further in. Doggo sent forward. Drake on the cards here. This will be third for BLG as they're trying to secure it. Look how stacked Weibo are as they try and move in. Bin about to turn mini. In they go. On starts the fight. Bin trying to escape, trying to back away from the play. The rest of Weibo moving forwards. There's one pick for themselves, and it's the Drake taken by BLG. But can they escape with their lives? TheShy trying to chase out Khan as Fofo goes to the mid lane, but On is still here. No quickness available, but won't be able to find and engage. In the end, though, with this Baron, this should be some towers now for Weibo as Doggo just about gets away with his life.
I mean, BLG got away with murder there. They're contesting without the package to try and get the dragon. They managed to secure it and only lose 1, but such a volatile play to go for when you don't have that big objective secure from the Corki. And they managed to get away licking their wounds. And you actually look on the side of BLG, Bin, Can, Fofo, and Doggo all had to burn their flashes there to get out. So heavy investment. And Weibo, they'll happily pick up the towers. They now have a 5,000 gold lead pretty much out of nowhere on the back of that Baron. And we'll see the replay. And this is the thing. Fofo, no ammo, no package, really not offering much. Huanfeng's so scary at this point, and you actually see the ultimate from him is tanked by Crisp, who flies out and just eats it. And Khan manages to make his getaway after securing the dragon, but look how many low health bars there are. That could have easily been so much worse.
So close to disaster. I can't believe the quickness from On didn't catch Fofo and Doggo there. That must have been millimeters away from a 3-man knockup and a very different play. Crisp caught, forced to flash. Ignite used there by TheShy, but now complete control right for Weibo. They got 3 towers off the back of the Baron, tier 2 in the mid and bottom lane. Now they can start to pressure up towards that top side with Angel and start to try and finish off that 3rd tier 2 tower. Like you said, 5,000 gold lead, and BLG losing control of the map in 3 minutes. They're gonna want to try and get an Ocean Soul, but whether or not they can, regain enough control to contest that will be a different question.
Yeah, there's such a disadvantage at this point. I mean, they're waiting as well. Fofo level 15, looking for that level 16 spike, but at the moment, they're kind of just playing defense. Baron timed out, so should be able to clear the waves here, at least. But yeah, I mean, you look over the side of Weibo, 3 full items for Huanfeng and some components. Angel is working on his third as well, 300 CS at this point. Weibo's carries are really firmly online. I think at this point, Doggo is just starting to lose relevance. Gonna struggle in these team fights. There's so much CC flying about, and yes, you have to cleanse, but even if you're cleansing, like, it stops you in your tracks for a moment, at least on the Kalista, and there's just like Huanfeng who can step up to you and shred you. Angel, who has so much DPS offered as well. I think it's going to be difficult, but, you know, with the package, at least, if they go towards that next dragon, it's definitely fightable if they want to try and contest it. But at the end of the day, BLG can also just wait, right? They don't need to fight this next dragon, as Weibo only have that one. So I guess securing that first, that most recent dragon for BLG does alleviate a good amount of pressure.
Yeah. The one thing I will say, though, is in 2 minutes, yes, the Drake will be coming up. So will the Baron. And if Weibo get themselves a Baron, with the kind of range that they have on this composition as well, I don't think that BLG will be able to survive another Baron siege against this Weibo composition with Azir, with an Aphelios as well. Like, you're going to be able to get some inhib towers down. That's where it becomes real scary for BLG. And you can see the vision control being pushed slowly but surely forward by Weibo. This feels like very controlled gameplay from the Weibo side.
Yeah, I mean, they are not giving many windows over the other side, and I think a big thing as well to talk about is the tankiness front line of Weibo. This Sejuani is an absolute beefcake. We see the Wit's End come out from Doggo, but like no armor penetration as of yet. Really gonna struggle to cut through the TheShy. Who also has a Force of Nature, which is great against Fofo. We have SofM's gone for like Blade Rune King and then a Bami Cinder item with the Crossfire Gauntlet, so
yeah,
quite bulky as well.
You got a whole line. You've just got a brick wall across this team, right, where the health bars are just going to be indomitable. SofM trying to move down to protect the TheShy here. He is still half HP. Like you said, completely invincible. Still got a quarter going. 2 men have been on him for about 4 hours at this point, and he just won't die. Finally falls, but what is the cost on trying to re-engage? But SofM losing his HP as well. There's a Moonlight Vigil. No Calibrum, it's all going to be shurikens, but Huanfeng can't get in range to actually get the autos off. The Q comes out on the Severum right now, but again, can't get in range for the autos. Can't escapes with his life. It's a 1-for-1 top for top.
No one can walk up with these Aphelios right now. Huanfeng's so strong with those weapons, will shred. As you said, it's a 1-for-1. Both top laners do have TP though, and Fofo can pick up the package here. He's level 16, the Corki is online, got decent item spikes as well, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. And I think a big thing as well is when you're trying to play for poke, which I think BLG need to do, you need vision of the enemy team. They might look for Angel here.
Yeah, Angel gets over the wall, still had flash, still has his ult as well, feeling confident to just clear that wave away.
Oh.
Moving over. Are they going to go for a 2-man play on this one? They want to deny the Baron. They need to get the Drake, but also stop BLG, who are moving over. Package in Fofo's pocket right now. Huanfeng a little late to this one. A TB coming out from BLG.
They want to fight. They want to use the package and take a fight here. Fofo's looking for potential flank angle. He doesn't have much left on the timer for this.
Yeah, look at his angle, though. This would be perfect if Weibo fall for it, but Weibo backing away. Very smart here. They've denied the Baron. They don't need any more. Bin trying to find the engagement. He's not mechanized yet. Huanfeng found alone. Fofo finds the angle and Khan alongside him. Low on HP, but surviving for now. Weibo need to somehow scrap this one back, but SofM falls, and BLG find 2 and get the jungler.
Man, the fact Khan manages to survive there, meaning they have the smite to go for this objective. Lee Sin as well has a ton of sustain. There's a honey fruit there. Not sure if he'll go and pick it up, but Weibo approaching. Angel has to be the big carry here.
Angel and the TheShy moving forwards on. No quickness available, but maybe he can find a knockup. There's a stun onto Doggo here. They're looking for Bin in the meantime. Angel can't get into the pit, can't get the damage, and gets stunned up instead. The solo laner falls as BLG will find the Baron. They'll find a couple of picks on top of it, and it looked like dire straits just a few minutes ago, but BLG will hold on.
They find their window back into the game, and it's a great decision. They don't go for the dragon where they don't have the vision they can't contest. They instead move over here, and Huanfeng isolated here, trapped in such a poor position, even with the flash, still gets hit by the package from Fofo. And the thing is, he goes down. They try and take out Fofo, but here's GA, so even the fact that he drops is irrelevant. And Khan, look at this. Look at the health. He survived on there before the triumph, ensuring they had the smite. So close, but so clutch.
That was so close for Khan, but he survives. And again, I just want to reiterate, anyone that doesn't know who Khan is, this is a player just promoted from the LDL, having his debut game in the LPL, got first blood, got the second kill of the game. He's now 3-0-4, having a perfect game, team fighting like a beast. I am excited for what the future holds for Khan right now.
He looks really good. 100% kill participation as well, still at this point in the game. So fantastic performance so far. And now BLG have the Baron, can start to make some headway on those towers themselves. Remember, Weibo have 5 towers, but BLG only with 2 means a lot of standing gold left available on the map for them to pick up. And now GA picked up by Doggo as well, making it much harder to deal with him. Bofo trying to land some poke here, but not quite connecting yet.
Not finding the opportunities. Look at the gold, though. We're almost even. It's 1,000 for Weibo. That does not matter at 33 minutes into the game. On, finding a knock-up onto Khan. Actually used the quickness as well. Follow-up not there from the rest of the team. Crisp actually stepping a bit too far forward. Takes a chunk for his trouble. But ultimately, not too much going to come of that one. The siege can continue. And this is Bofo's dream, right? Being able to set up in a siege position on the Corki. There's some rocket damage coming on through as Angel desperately tries to clear this way.
Yeah, and Bofo low on rockets, but has a blue buff and can just keep firing off as soon as they recharge. Getting some decent poke downs, forcing people to back off. And you can see on this side of the map, Bin just taking that tower by himself. No real contest. TheShy can't deal with him in the side lane at this point.
Yeah. And remember how crucial this game is for BLG as well, right? 2-5 in the standings so far. This is a team that on paper should make playoffs, but what we've seen so far this split has not been convincing. Now today, with a couple of, like, they've subbed multiple players across the split now, it finally feels like they've found something that's working a little bit for them in this game. The question is, can they finish it off? Because we said that about Weibo earlier on in this very same game. And, you know, we said we were going to have bangers today. The first series was a banger. This second series, game number 1, already looking fantastic for a good day of games here. Exactly even on gold currently.
Such a tense one, honestly. And this next Dragon, I feel like BLG, they've evened the gold, right? They were super far behind before. Look at the items available to this Corki. Super strong, only lacking the Void Staff to round out the build. And should have package and TP available. Actually, may not have package, remember, because the Dragon went down a lot earlier than the package was used. A lot earlier because obviously he picked it up quite late. So may not actually have the package for this one. This could be a window for Weibo to get in without that being available. BLG are posturing heavily to try and retain control of the area. They're trying to land some poke.
Yeah, been moving forwards here alongside Bofo to try and get onto On. That's Gnar. It's a little bit early, 20 seconds until the Drake comes on up. Bin might find himself in mini Gnar, and perhaps that'd be the window for Weibo as On continuing to try and get a bit of sustain out from his Qs as Weibo have the inside track on the mid lane right here, but they can't afford to give up Ocean Soul. On, charging forward, there's the quickness, there's a knock-up on Doggo, but he cleanses. Chris escaping with his own life as well, but there's a stun out from TheShy. Fate's Call now going to be used. That's a lot of cooldowns on both sides.
Lot burned, but Weibo still healthy apart from On. And no ammo left for Fofo on the ultimate. Weibo looking to make their way in on this one.
Yeah, it's going to be Bin aggressed upon, but you got to keep your eyes on the Drake. Weibo can't afford to lose this Ocean Soul. It's going to reset in the pit. Bin back into Gnar once more. This fight has gone on forever so far as TheShy tanking up Doggo. In the meantime, 2K on the Drake. SofM has to get in the pit, but it's taken by BLG. And now onto the fight as well. TheShy on the front line, but he will fall. And BLG, they found themselves the Ocean Soul, and their health bars are looking comfy off the back of it. Angel escapes, but no, cut down midair as Khan looks for a 2v1. It's his first game of the LPL, and he wants to make sure that Weibo remember it. BLG find the soul, and they look for the base.
Khan is just a beast, secures the Dragon, kicks Huanfeng into his team. Flash cleanse does not matter. Finds that late game Aphelios, and then his team are able to clean up the fight and able to take game 1. What a debut from this jungler.
I can see why the substitution has happened. Quickness across the team, but SofM and On, try as they might, cannot defend this one. It's BLG taking themselves, you know, not a perfect game, certainly not an easy win for them, but a win nonetheless. And Khan, almost 100% kill participation there, a flawless game, and an unbelievable debut.
Fantastic performance. Exactly what you want, right? You bring up this LDL star, The hope is that he'll be able to slot into the roster. The hope is he'll have the same confidence on the LPL stage as he did in the LDL. And absolutely did he. And I feel like, you know, often with picks like Lee Sin, you see them have an impact on the early game, maybe pick up a couple of kills, and that's about it. But I feel like that final team fight, a big aspect of the success was the fact he found Huanfeng. He also secured the dragon as well, got them the Ocean Soul, which, considering the amount of damage coming out from the side of Weibo, even having that Ocean Soul in the final fight can make such a big difference in being able to find favors. So just really solid play from him. And BLG, you know, it's early days. It's one game, so I don't want to draw too many conclusions yet, but looking positive so far.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. Weibo leaving a little to be desired, right? We saw very positive things in that game. We also saw, you know, quite a few times just being late to the Drakes, not being able to find those Drakes for themselves, like BLG consistently having control of that one. The Baron as well. Like, Weibo did a very good job of contesting the one Baron with just 4 players against 5. But then again, going into the 3v5 later on, like people being picked off before these big objectives, it's a worrying sign for Weibo and a team that's currently, I think, 4-4 in the standings. These are the kind of games that they really need if they want to make it to playoffs.
And I feel like Huanfeng as well on the Aphelios. There was that time he was caught out by the package, right? And died and gave up the Baron. The final fight being caught out by the kick. Don't feel like he had the best performance overall. Like, if he was in position to deal damage, then absolutely be able to shred, but just wasn't able to find the posture. And ultimately, yeah, well, a rough one for Weibo. And as much as we talk about BLG struggling, I feel like Weibo as well are a team who had a really strong start in spring, kind of fell off a bit, and then obviously didn't have the playoffs run they maybe would have hoped for, would have hoped to go deeper. Losing this series would be pretty devastating for them as well, would put their series score into negative. And I mean, look at that cold graph, by the way. The fact that BLG did make a mistake, they made a pretty substantial mistake in that one, but managed to claw it back and sort of retain form throughout that. Really positive to see.
And I will say, BLG did such a good job of playing around On, right? It felt like On just could never get that big quickness, that big knock-up across the team. So many times it felt like he had an opportunity, but just not quite able to manage to make that happen. Really, really nice stuff from BLG. Great team fighting and some pretty good packages from Fofo across it. Like the one where he managed to get onto Huanfeng, who realistically, 3-2-1, is like Huanfeng is one of these AD carries. He's got the highest KDA in the league. It's kind of like the LPL Reckless, if you will. He's this AD carry that's known for great team fighting, but will never die. This game, Fofo finding him with the package, then Khan finding him later on with the kick as well. Feels like they were able to shut down that late game AD carry.
Yeah, and make it work when there was definitely some concerns, right? You have the Kalista into the Aphelios. One of the big things is if you don't get that early advantage, you are going to get a clip. So just a lot of positives. I'm interested to see how the adaptation comes from here. I think there's definitely a lot of chance that Weibo challenge and continue to in this series. So BLG have to, you know, keep this up if they want to take the whole set.
They certainly will. We're going to jump into a break. We'll find out if Weibo can come back in game number 2 right after.